Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to Elite Rounders News Corner. Today we are talking about a little bit about Doug Polk versus Daniel Negreanu, the grudge match, what they're calling it. But what I want to point out a couple things here. What are my initial thoughts on this topic and so on. First of all, I think it's very interesting that Negreanu agreed to first of all play heads up for 25,000 hands. I think there's few problems. Doug Polk definitely has massive edge because his experience and history with heads-up poker, and he used to be one of the top players. So Negreanu is coming basically with no skills in heads-up, and he basically has to start learning from the beginning, you could say. Like, if you haven't played heads-up, you kind of have to start from the beginning. You know the rules of the game and everything, but like, it's so different game to like playing full ring and everything. When I used to play heads up, go play tournaments, if I would go play tournaments full ring, I would spew off money. Why? Because I felt like everybody, I thought they could be bluffing me, because like heads up, the ranges are so wide, you have to make some bluff catches, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. You need to make these things, but like in heads up poker, the ranges are so wide, so you need to make these tough calls and everything. But full ring poker, you can play much more solid. So it's like, to me, it's kind of like an easier game in a way. But again, let's go back to the challenge in a way. I did run some variance calculator on this. With the Doug Polk was talking about that he has 10 big blind per 100 win rate versus the best players in the world, or he used to have 6-7 years ago. But I think there's one thing he's kind of discounting here. While I don't think Negreanu is the best player ever, if he does actually spend some time studying, the heads-up game could be studied fairly fast, especially the pre-flop part. So if he actually gets help for the pre-flop, I think Doug Polk's like edge will be like limited from that perspective, because like the pre-flop should be fairly simple. If Negreanu gets help for this, works with Biosolver or Monkey Solver, and he gets down to this and he actually studies the preflop ranges, I think he can really cut Doug's edge there. So I think that would be very crucial for Daniel Negreanu. If he does that, that already helps him. And from my understanding, the stacks are like maximum 150 or 200 big blinds. I think if Negreanu wants to have some chance here, I think he wants to limit how deep the stacks could be. I think it would be very important that whenever his stack size is 150 big blinds, you just start from 100 again. I think that's very crucial for Daniel Negreanu. So the more variance you can make, the better, basically. Doug Polk, of course, would want to play as deep as possible and use his post-flop edge. So I think that's going to be very key. But yeah, I think that's something like, I don't think Doug Polk understands that Negreanu could definitely, fairly easily cut that edge with just some programs. If he would study, I think he would, lose a lot of, cut a lot of like Doug Polk edge in this game. But yeah, we can look at a little bit the numbers. Let's say we assume Doug Polk would win with big blind, 10 big blinds per 100, and here you see 20 examples how it could be. Like, you still see that like fairly often he could still actually lose here. You can kind of see that 25,000 hands is not that many hands. But I think I also want to point out like one thing. I don't expect them to finish this challenge. 25,000 hands is a lot of hands, especially if you play 2 tables max, and I assume the hands are played very slowly. I don't think they're gonna finish this challenge. I don't think so. Maybe they will play 10,000 hands or something. But again, I guess Doug wanted 25,000 to make sure that he has pretty low variance. Like, when we look at the numbers, if he thinks his edge is like 10 big blind per 100, I'm not sure if the game is actually played unraked. That would make difference too. But looking at his EV 10 big blind per 100, let's say, his expected winnings would be 25 buy-ins, basically. That's a lot of money, 200, 400. So 400x 100 big blind, 40k, 25 times. So we are talking about like $1 million. I think the game was supposed to be played on 200, 400. So we are talking about like Doug, for him, expectation-wise, this should be very profitable. It's basically like Daniel Negreanu is going to like donate him $1 million. You know, if his edge is 10 big blind per 100, Doug Polk. So it's pretty interesting. So for Daniel Negreanu to donate 1 million to Doug Polk doesn't seem like the best idea in the world. I think that's why I also expect this challenge is never gonna end up with 25,000 hands, especially if Negreanu has bad run or something. I don't expect it to end. When you look at these numbers, I'm sure Doug Polk has checked it too, but like in the like 70% chance that he's gonna end up winning like 22, like, you know, 70% chance it's gonna be around these. So it's gonna be either minus 2.65 big blinds or plus 22.65. So you can see that Doug Polk is kind of like, he has small chance of risk of ruin, like, you know, but he's a big favorite here, even with 10 big blind per 100. It might be them, it might be bigger. Maybe he thinks he has edge of 20 big blind per 100, 15. That means like his probability of loss after 25,000 hands is nearly zero. So Doug Polk has made Daniel Negreanu take a challenge where he's pretty much gonna lose every time. This is insane. I don't think Negreanu should ever agree to this challenge. I'm not sure why he didn't ask for better terms. It just makes no sense. Like, but I did hear the podcast where he was like reasoning it, and he said, "Okay, I'll play your game." But I think he was also a little bit cocky with all these comments he made about, if we would play live, I would just crush him. Like, he would have 0%. But again, poker is not like that. Even if you crush somebody, you're still gonna lose sometimes. So it's like, I think that just comes from live poker players, especially tend to underestimate the variance a lot because their sample sizes are so much smaller. Because like, let's say live player plays in a year, let's say 50,000 hands, online player 500,000. So the understanding of variance from that perspective is so much smaller. I think it's just like when you play online, you just understand the variance a little bit better than if you play live. Because live, you can go like 6 months, you're winning every day, you know, like, or something crazy. Of course, the edges are probably bigger too, so it little bit lowers the variance too. But I think that's kind of the symptom of live poker player, I feel like, is that understanding variance can be a little bit tough. When you're running hot, you're running really, really hot. You're making millions a year, probably playing tournaments if you just win everything, right? But then the opposite is like you lose 2 years in a row just dumping money all the time. So it can be very extreme. But yeah, looking at this, in the worst case scenario, like Doug Polk, like if you look at the confidence interval, 95%, he could be still losing minus 15 big blind per 100, or he could be winning even 35 big blind per 100. So in the worst case scenario, Doug Polk could be still big loser in this challenge. But like when you look at the number, I assume like if Doug Polk thinks his edge versus the best players in the world was 10 big blind per 100, I assume he thinks he's gonna have edge around 15 to 20 big blinds. I think it's probably not unreasonable. I'm gonna use 15 here as an example. So we can look at this, and it really starts to look good for him. The chance of loss is like basically nothing. So again, I really don't understand. Like when you look at this 70% chance, he's just gonna end up winning every time, either 2.35 big blind per 100 or 27 big blinds per 100. So looking at all these challenges, I just don't see what is the challenge here. And it's kind of like grudge match where the other guy has no chance. Doesn't seem like challenge to me. And I'm not sure what Doug Polk is proving with this. This is just money maker for him, to be honest. Like, it seems like total BS in a way. But I have to say, he had good enough trolling game to make Daniel Negreanu to A-grade to this. I mean, he trolled him into losing 1 million basically. So I think that's gonna be the key here. But again, I don't think they will ever play 25,000 hands. Negreanu will definitely quit before that. It will be similar to these Dur challenges and all these other challenges we've seen versus top pros. When the going gets tough, which I expect for Negreanu, he will just quit. Probably 5 to 10,000 hands, around that. That's my estimate. Or, not estimate. I'm just gonna, guess, I guess. I think max 10,000 hands and it will be over. So, but yeah, looking at good trolling game from Doug Polk, but I really don't see hope for Negreanu. If he really studies the game with the Pi Solver and works with the best heads-up players in the world right now, I think he could really cut the edge Doug Polk will have. But again, I think during the challenge, Doug Polk will be focusing on improving and everything. And he has such a good relationship with a lot of top players. So I think it will be really tough for Negreanu to actually win this. But yeah, if he does focus on improving the pre-flop game, I think which will be really crucial. If he does all those things, I think that could really improve him. So we'll see how it happens. But yeah, right now I can't really give Negreanu too much chance here. I hope he studies the pre-flop game and and then of course works on the post-flop. As long as he does that, I think it's gonna make Doug Polk's life so much harder, and he can really cut his edge. I think that's one thing Doug Polk doesn't maybe realize as well. 6-7, if he was the best player in the world 6-7 years ago, maybe we didn't have tools to check what to do optimally pre-flop with these solvers. There probably was some program for the top players, but now it's for everybody. Everybody can use these tools. So I think that can really help Negreanu to cut down the edge. So I think that's one thing Doug has definitely underestimated. So when he talks about that he crushed these guys 6-7 years ago, 10 big blind per 100, how much would he crush today? Probably way less, because the pre-flop game will be pretty much solved. So yeah, it's interesting to see. But yeah, I wish luck to Daniel Negreanu, because I think he's the big underdog here. And as a Michael Jordan of poker, as he said, yeah, I kind of hope he makes challenge out of I hope he makes game out of it. That's what I'm hoping. It's entertainment, and I hope he gets a game out of it. I hope Doug Polk is not gonna crush this. That's just for the entertainment. I hope it's not gonna be something ridiculous easy for Doug Polk. So something maybe similar to the Calphone, he loses first and then comes back. That would be epic. But we'll see what happens. So good luck to both.